Hi, everyone, and welcome to our live demo of the all-new MyHealthily Agent Experience. I'm Laura, and I'm excited to be your host today. Just a few housekeeping items. This will be recorded and sent out within 24 hours of the presentation. Attendees will be muted until the end of the demonstration, and then we will accept questions live. You can also submit questions during the demonstration, and we will answer them at the end. And we do encourage you to ask questions. I'm about to hand it over to the experts who will walk you through all of the amazing features and benefits of the new MyHealthily Agent Experience. JD Garlitz, Executive Director, and Jeremy McClendon, Vice President of Insurance Affairs. JD and Jeremy, take it away.
Thank you, Laura. All right. Well, thank you all for attending, and this is our demo session here. I want you to notice the new scheme that we have, coloring scheme we have with this the new agent experience. It's pretty sharp. We're going to run you through the quote to proposal, specifically optic today. I want you to notice in this new version of our software, the few data points, minimal data points required, you'll be required to enter to actually get to an open market quote. And as Jeremy's doing this here, you'll notice those few data points here. Really, really simple to do. And I want you to think about how much data you actually have to enter with whatever process or platform you're using now. And just simply choose the effective date here. And we can advance on the process here. So obviously we need to upload a census. This is not totally different than our version 1. So Jeremy's going to upload the census here. And I want you to notice on this page here, before in version 1, you had to have everything in the MyHealthily formatted census. You don't really have to do that anymore. In fact, you don't. We can ingest any type of census, and it's going to give you the availability, the option to actually upload your own census format, and then choose how your rows and columns, the information displays in those rows and columns as well. Pretty neat. Jeremy's going to proceed. All right, and he's going to show you exactly the column and row mapping here, functionality. All right, now that we have our census mapped here, it's displayed in a function where you can actually see those very few data points of entry and allow us to advance onto an open market quote. Again, we have the functionality of a employees covered or waiving coverage page. Remember that despite the fact you may select people here, they are still considered in until carrier waivers are executed digitally through our process. While the quoting engine is generating all of the quotes, the open market quote for you, I do want you to realize that you do, like version 1, you're going to see an open market quote. So we're going to have a lot of, we're going to have the entire marketplace, actually. We're going to have all the ACA community rated, and then we're going to have several level funded products that you will see. In fact, that's the first that populates here. This group is quoted in the state of Florida. Notice that we have 5 level funded options here. You'll also see carriers in here that are really only accessible through MyHealthily and actually installed only through MyHealthily as well. Really neat. And I'd love to educate you on those carriers at a later time when we do our demo. Jeremy selected a Florida Blue plan and a NobMed, or excuse me, carrier selection. Notice that the SBCs are here. They're always accessible. And if you want to issue the policy on a member age base rate, you can as well. The compare feature here is really sharp. If you remember version one, geez, it was a little clunky, in my opinion. Now look how sharp this is. All data that's on the SBC is presented. And so you can easily set a plan next to adjacent to one another and see and compare accurately. This is also going to be really usable in the renewal process as well, which I know is a arduous process. It's a big time suck. And we can talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, next it will be our ancillary coverage lines, dental, vision, life, short-term, long-term, in all worksite lines like hospital indemnity, critical illness, and we've just got the whole gamut here. SBCs are accessible here as well. Vision, same thing, same layout. Realize also in this version, you are not mandated to select a dental and vision. In version one, you were. You don't have to do that in version two. You'll be able to proceed. And onto our worksite lines. All right. Now we're at that very familiar proposal stage here. I do want you to notice that you're able to add your own medical plan here. Choose if it's voluntary or contributory. And define each parameter of that added plan. That's extremely valuable, makes things a lot easier. Now, there are two versions of our proposal. You all are aware of the Excel and the PDF that's in current version one. Now we have an Excel and a Word format. What's really neat about this, the new proposal functionality, is that yes, all information entered into the SBC by the carrier is going to be presented in the Word and proposal form and Excel formats. Again, you have a landing page tab, major medical, dental vision, life, long and short term. As you can see, there's a lot more data, many more data points here. It's like having the SBC translated over instantaneously. Now, the function of the Word format is really neat as well. Let's suggest that you have your own proposal document that you have formatted. It's got your colors, everything on it. We're able to ingest that and print it or deliver it in a Word format that is editable. So it's going to make things a lot easier for you, and you don't have that big time really the waste of time spreadsheeting things because it's all right here. Everything you could wish for is on the proposal format in version two. It's really neat.
Yeah, and so to bring that to a head, you know, as an agent of over 20 years, I know the life of living quoting, you know, trying to put it into a spreadsheet and get it into the right format. I mean, you see how quickly we did that within, I mean, less than 5 minutes, we've already quoted and proposed a group, whether it's a new business, whether it's renewal, you know, you're simply able to get to market and get things going and get to enrollment faster than you ever have before with the data points that you as a broker, maybe as an account manager, like to place into a proposal. Now you can do that within minutes. Your branding is standing intact. You know, your logos, your colors are there. So, you know, you're able to push your branding and the things you've worked so hard for as an agent. One thing too that you know we're probably not going to show today due to time, and we would love to have a conversation is you know, and set a demo for more in depth. But our platform doesn't just stop at just the quoting and the proposal. I'll let John David pick up on all the other things that it does that we can't show you today due to time. But like you use other platforms. Maybe you use Uber, right? You don't leave Uber to pay with PayPal and look at it where they're Google Maps. You use it because it's all in one place, and that's what the MyHealthily platform was built for. It's built by brokers, for brokers, lives that we've lived, and we know that you spend a lot of time doing paperwork, spend a lot of time just communicating, and all those things that are non-value added that you have to do are now solved for. So go ahead, John Denton.
That's right. Thank you, Jeremy. Specifically, I want you to think about renewals and the remarketing of your current groups. I couldn't imagine having a better tool to really quote, install, and manage your book of business. And that's exactly what Jeremy was saying. You have that right here within MyHealthily. You don't have to have several apps. You've got it all in one. Is specifically with the renewal process. If you can imagine that proposal document you just saw and having the current year plan positioned on it while you actually remarket that group in the same platform that you actually can enroll the renewal or engage the renewal. And then have the capability and the functionality to host benefit administration capabilities and functionality as well. And that part is a little hard to illustrate, but you certainly can do it right from the software. To me, that is a huge value add. And frankly, we are able to eliminate all non-value added paperwork that you're engaging in probably right now. You can enter in QLEs, which is what Jeremy is showing you here. Folks can initiate a QLE on their own via the link they get for enrollment. So right now, you're having to ingest that information from the HR director, then you get email back. Scratch through all of that because it's all right here as all can log in. So it's really easy. It's highly functional. I can't imagine anything else that would be better, frankly. Anything to add to that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I would just say that, from a standpoint of using, going everywhere from paper to faxes to pre-ACA, and we've all lived this life. Don't have to tell you the things that that you have to do for quoting and enrollment. That's all, things you live daily. Having it all in one place. No more do you have to go to a different platform and do a case build. You're case building it as you're quoting, as you're enrolling. There's no extra data entry, so account managers aren't spending extra time doing things that don't frankly matter, because you're doing it one step as a step as a step. So every keystroke is being populated into the carrier form. So all forms are digital through our platform. All signatures are digital. If you do a level funded product, our platform will do the IMQs if needed. A lot of carriers these days are using things like Gradient or other, underwriting decision making tools, and our platform will handle that. So truly, from the very first time you have a new quote or you have a renewal, everything lives within one environment. You don't have to leave. You don't have to do other things. So what might take you and took me 5 days to do can now be done in minutes. And so you can really now spend more time on what matters as agents. We all know that every agent, no matter how many are in your community, can sell a plan. But what we the most thing that we really sell is service. And so this gets you back to doing that, is being an advisor to the group, spending the time that really matters on servicing them and not about all the stuff that the paperwork, the remarketing, all the things that doesn't. So it allows you to get back to it at the heart of what all of us as agents, account managers, brokers, it doesn't matter, a principal agent, we all know that we live for service, and this allows you to do more of that.
Mm-hmm. It allows your team to engage in more revenue producing activities. Why waste time? Any questions? We'd love for you to put them in the chat here. We will certainly answer them. And I do look forward to demoing this and showing you the process of how we actually do things here. Love to have you part of the team. Laura?
Yes, I have a few questions. Number one, how long would it take you to quote a group and create a spreadsheet of the proposal?
So I think the question is it's a good question. Depends on what data you have. As you saw, with what Jeremy just entered, frankly, you need 3 or 4 points of data, which you should know well before you're even trying to quote. You would have more than likely gathered that in the first conversation. So as long as you have those data points, you're into an open market quote. The more data you have, the better. Frankly, if it's not a virgin group, you have who's waiving, who's a participant in the policy. You can certainly use that page's functionality and get an even more accurate quote. And then you're right into the open market on the plan selections page and the proposal document. I would suggest to you, if you have those data points and you feel comfortable with them, you've got an accurate quote within, I would say, 2 minutes.
I would say to piggyback on that, if you do, I mean, the fully insured world is what it is, right? We know it's community rated, it's based on the zip code and age, but of any, and I would love to be able to see a raise of hands of those that you have done a medically underwritten product, whether it's level funded, reference-based pricing, MEX, we have all those things. And when you talk about the amount of time spent, even just trying to get a street rate from those, uh, you're talking days, right? I mean, we probably all sent proposals to the carriers we all know, an RFP. We have that built in right away. So you have street rates in seconds for those products, and then you can lead as an advisor to that group down the path of saying, okay, maybe a medically underwritten product is right for you, and they get all those benefits that they might do. So, yeah, it's simple to say we can do it in a few minutes, but those times when you need that level funded product quote, you've got it right there on a street rate to be able to help sell that group appropriately, and then move into the questionnaires that are all done through our platform. Employees log in, you and the employer can track who's done the questionnaires. There's a simple reminder button. So you don't have to, that back and forth dance that we've all done getting those IMQs is solved for in our platform.
That's great. Thank you. I have another question. Does it have plans and rates built in the system from the prior year so we can do renewal quoting from the system as opposed to plugging in all the plans and rates manually?
Yeah, so that's actually a really, really good
Go ahead,
question.
Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yes. So if and you can talk in a little bit more in depth, and that might be something to have a one-on-one conversation about. But yes, if we have done what we would call in this, we all know the book roll idea, to be able to bring in prior plan data. So yes, you can do that so that if what you currently have enrolled and what the rates are, whether they're composite or age banded, we're able to ingest that data, and be able to show the prior year and the current year and the percent difference. So when you talk about renewals, it's kind of interesting. What we have is what would take a renewal. Trust me, I've sat at that step both as an account manager and as a broker. What would take you a good while to work through. Our system allows for passive and active renewals with just a click of a button. So we're able to quote the open market for you immediately, automatically create a proposal with your current and your expiring plan and the most, I guess you'd say, like the most comparative plan from another carrier. So from a due diligence standpoint, you can quote the entire market within seconds, which might take you days beforehand.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you. Can the client self-service during the year?
Totally. Yes. So the employer and the employee can both make qualified life event changes, update things like, mailing address, all of those things. They may have a kid. All of those things can be done simply through the platform, without the need of a broker intervening, except for the time when it might need an approval from an employer. We don't want employees like it's the Wild West making changes they can't. But yes, it can be completely self-managed by an employer and an employee.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Can we use our agency proposal or do we have to use the one in the system?
You do not have to use the one that is in the system. I think you're referencing the Excel document. That's the cool functionality about the new version 2 proposal. If you have a specific format that you really like, you worked on a long time, fine. We can ingest that and produce it in the Word format that is editable for you. So no, you do not have to use the Excel. We can upload your own.
Yeah, and to that point, I think we've all used platforms or carriers in the past where we feel like a number. What's really important at MyHealthily is you're not. So you are dedicated a rep. Um, that's internal. It's a person. You have their phone number. You have their email. It's not an 800 number that you're going to get a round robin on. That's very important to us at MyHealthily that know that we provide a wow customer service factor. So that when we onboard you, it's not just a here's a guide, go to town. We want to spend time with you and learn your pain points and how we can help solve those. So talking about the proposal, you're going to have somebody to be able to send that proposal format to so that we can create it and make sure that it feels right to what you've always done.
Wonderful. And then I'll take one more question. Who does the enrollment once the client enrollment is complete?
That's a really good question. So we do have connections with carriers. You might have, used Ease or a Navigator in the past. We're built to be better, just because we know what the pain points are as a broker, so that we do act as a GA in certain avenues. We kind of talk about it more in like of a tech vendor and less of a GA. But depending on the carrier, and the state, and we work in all 50 states, all group sizes from, two to thousands, you can use our platform for. And when we can, we'll facilitate the enrollment. But at the very least, if it's a carrier, and unfortunately, there's a lot of carriers that kind of do their own things, we will provide you a little nice little bow wrapped up of all the enrollment of a census file, all of the signed applications, so that you can send it either straight to the carrier, or you can log into their portal, or you can send it to a different general agent if you need in that format.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So that's all the time that we have for questions. For all of the questions, oh, sorry, JD, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask this. Do you have a document that lists all these questions? There are several in here that have not been answered, and I would love the opportunity to provide clarity.
Yes, absolutely. For all of
Thank
the
you.
questions that we were not able to answer, we will reach out to you directly to answer your questions. So we will address all of these. And that is a quick look at the power of the new MyHealthily Agent Experience. We've made it simpler than ever to quote, enroll, and manage employee health benefits so you can focus on what really matters, building lasting relationships with your clients. If you want to see more, book a personalized demo and experience the difference for yourself. Thank you all for being here today, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you all.